You're watching Guitar 101 Rammstein, and in this video I'm going to go over 7 tips on how to keep your bass strings lasting as long as possible and keep them as newly sounding as possible. If you're a bass player, then you surely know that bass strings are on the expensive side, especially compared to guitar. Especially if you're playing a 5-string or a 6-string or an 8-string bass, the price just gets higher. It varies a lot with brands, but it's not like a set of guitar strings. And for me personally, I love the sound of new bass strings. It makes me play better. They respond better. That punch that they have, that bright tone, I love it. Um, Unfortunately, I cannot just change bass strings whenever I want. It gets too expensive, and I go through them pretty fast, especially with playing concerts or recording. It gets to the point sometimes where I'll put a new set of strings on, and I just almost don't even want to touch that bass unless I'm going to be recording with it because I know I'm going to just wear them out. But with these 7 tips, hopefully it's going to help you just get the most out of your bass strings. So let's go over the first one. It's really simple. Wash your hands. Even if your hands are clean, wash them before you play. That's going to just help with getting, there's always oil on your fingers. That's how we leave fingerprints. It just helps keep your strings cleaner, which keeps them lasting longer. Number 2, also very simple. Just keep a clean rag or cloth in your guitar case, and when you're done playing, give them a quick wipe down. That, again, is going to just help keep any oil, sweat, whatever, out of the strings. Number 3, that's where we start getting the string cleaning products. One I like a lot is Fast Fret by GHS, and it runs you. It's usually under $10 for a can of this. Lasts quite a while. You just take. I put a video on how to use this, but here we go again because it literally just takes seconds. I just take the applicator, run it up and down the strings. Normally it comes with a cleaning cloth, which I lost. I always lose them. Doesn't matter, just any clean rag or cloth. You'll just kind of wipe off the excess. I usually use that before playing. It also works as a string lubricant, so it makes the strings kind of a little bit nice and slick, but not too much where it's annoying, like some other string lubricants do. And I do it after playing. That also makes a significant difference in how long your string life is and how they sound. Uh, Then we have number 4, which would be string cleaner. There's a lot of different string cleaners they sell, and I haven't tried them all. The ones I did try, I'm convinced was just overpriced rubbing alcohol. So I've used rubbing alcohol with exact same results. I don't know if someone knows a brand that's not rubbing alcohol they can recommend that is better than these, but for me, rubbing alcohol worked fine. For that, I'll just put I'll kind of saturate the cloth with it. And that part that's wet, I pinch the string with it, rub it up and down the string. And then this part's important. After I apply it to the string, I actually snap on the string a bit. What I think that does is it's helping to loosen up the dirt that's built up in the strings and all the grime that's in there, and that kind of shakes it out of the string. Normally when you do this, you'll hear a difference right away. You'll hear they're a little bit brighter and sound a little newer after that. It doesn't last super long, but it does help. It does make a difference. Like I said, you could try string cleaners. I'm really convinced it's just overpriced rubbing alcohol. I don't think there's really any difference that I've found. Now we're getting into when our strings are sounding really dead. I mean, these on here, I've played, I don't know, 2 or 3 concerts with them, so they're getting worn out, and they're actually lasting a lot longer than normal because I've been using these steps with it. So especially my low B string, which is tuned to C. I mean, they're not terribly worn yet, but they're not sounding totally new. Usually with a bit of cleaning, that'll help quite a bit, like I said. But say my strings are getting dead, and I need, they're starting to just sound really dead. These are the next 2 steps that are gonna help you with that. One is, I saw a video on this a while ago. I kind of like, wow, watching the demonstration, it seemed to work really good. I didn't understand how it would work, but I tried it, and it definitely did work. I'm just going to do it on one string here. I did it early on this A string, or my E string. I'll do it on my A string, so we can kind of compare them to the other strings. I'll just do it on one. So what I'm going to do on my string is loosen it a lot. Really, I want it like flopping. out like that. Then I'm going to take that string and just really snap on it pretty hard, all the way up the neck, up and down the neck a couple times, all the way down to the bridge. All right, now tune it back up. I don't know how well you'll hear the difference with this web camera microphone, but I can definitely hear a difference. I'll play a string I didn't do it to in comparison. And now back to the string I just did that on. You know, that one will just take you a few minutes to do, cost you nothing. Definitely worth a try. You'll see a difference. Number 6, this is also works really good for emergencies. For example, a couple years ago I was recording in Athens in Greece, and it was in the summertime. I think it was on a Sunday besides, so there was like a holiday time where a lot of the shops were closed, and it was a Sunday where they're always closed anyways. I had brand new strings, my last set, and a few hours into the recording they were just dead. We did an A-B comparison, and it sounded like a totally different bass. There was no way I could continue recording that way. And I had nowhere to buy strings. And studio time was booked. I had to do something. So this is one of those kinds of scenarios where this is a really, really good solution for emergencies. What you do is you take your strings off, boil a pot of water, get it to a full boil, throw those strings in the boiling water, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes tops. Take them out, dry them off, and put them back on your bass. They're going to sound like brand new strings. It works amazingly well. The only downsides to this is they're not going to last as long as brand new strings as far as that new sound. It wears out a little bit faster. Also, the strings tend to get a little bit more fragile after that. I found that it's easier to break a string after doing that. But for an emergency, this works wonders. Or if you're just on a tight budget and you're getting tired of having dead strings, give that a try. It definitely works. So with all those are all the best ways I found to just keep my strings sounding as good as possible, without buying strings left and right. I mean, that's one thing I'd love to have as a string endorsement, but even then I could get free strings. It's also kind of a hassle to keep changing them. So I mean, even with say I'm getting free strings, which I'd love to get, any string companies, please get in touch. But yeah, even in that case, I'd still use most of these methods just to keep that life longer of the strings. And finally, the 7th one isn't really a solution. It's just a way to kind of, deal with the dilemma basses have of strings are expensive. And that's using cheap strings. There's a big difference in string brands. We have coated strings that are going to last longer, but also cost more. Different brands tend to last longer for me with that nice new sound. Some string brands I really like. The sound is great. The way they feel, the way they play is great, but they wear really fast. So that it's like, it's really, it's a bit of a dilemma making a choice. For me, if I'm playing a live show, I don't think someone's going to tell the difference and just go, oh, he must be playing GHS strings or Elixir strings. I really don't think they're going to hear that difference playing live. And I beat my strings up really quick live. You're sweating a lot. You're playing a bit harder. So they don't last me very long. I hate putting money into strings for live over and over and over again. So in those cases, what I did is I found a very cheap brand of strings that I'm happy with for the price. I can't complain. And that's a brand, it's made by musiciansfriend.com. It's their own brand called Musicians Gear. And for a 5-string set, they're about $10, which I don't think you can beat. Anything I've tried in that, I don't think I've found strings in that price range. So I have nothing to compare them to. And for the price, I'm perfectly happy with these for playing live. The life of them is, have no complaints really. The only downside is you're very limited on string gauge. They do make them in 4-string sets, but for 5-string, it's just one string. You only got one choice, and these are 130s, 45 through 130. So I mean, they worked fine for me. I did a bit of adjustments so they sit good. And yeah, for live, that's great. I've even used them on some recordings where just budget was tight. Are they going to be comparable to the top brands of your favorite strings? Probably not. They are nickel strings, but $10, I cannot complain. They've been a lifesaver in many situations, or work good as a backup to have. That's always good to have. So those are my 7 tips for keeping your string life lasting as long as possible. Thanks for watching, and of course, if you have any other tips on that, I'm all ears. I'm always interested to learn more about that stuff. That's it for this one. Make sure to hit the like button if you liked the video, hit subscribe, and there's that little bell icon. Hit that if you want to be notified of my new videos, because I'm doing a lot. As of today, I did 4 or 5. So my channel is active again, and you're going to see a lot more videos coming in the near future. That's it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.